Hi beautiful souls, welcome to my channel Elle's Temple. My name is Elle, I'm a goddess, guide and intuitive tarot reader, and today I am so excited to be bringing you a reading all about what destiny are you weaving for yourself. So this reading is a very special reading because it's part of my Wheel of the Year series. So just to quickly explain that for those of you that are new to that concept, it's a pagan term and it's referring to basically like the Wheel of the Year, so the seasonal shifts throughout the year. So it essentially, each festival or each what's known as a Sabbath, if you like, happens every about 6 weeks, and the two main points are the winter solstice and the summer solstice. So I've just filmed a reading for the summer solstice for those of you in the northern hemisphere, so you can check that out if you're in the northern hemisphere and you'd rather watch the summer solstice one that went out yesterday. If you're in the southern hemisphere or you're feeling particularly drawn to the title of this reading, the topics and the themes, that is totally fine. Even if you are in the northern hemisphere, the messages themselves are timeless, so you can still watch this anytime. But if you're in the southern hemisphere and you're watching this at the time of upload, then you guys are in your winter solstice right now, or which is also known in the Wheel of the Year as Yule. And Yule is a really powerful time to set intentions, and especially for that we have got the beautiful Welsh goddess Arion Rod here, who is all about intention setting and weaving your destiny. So this is a powerful time for you. It's a really potent time where when the light is at its dimmest, at its darkest, and your energy is probably at its lowest, right? I can imagine especially if you're in a cold part of the southern hemisphere right now. Naturally speaking, as humans, we will feel those seasonal energies. We will be, affected by those things. We're affected by the lack of light. We're affected by the lack of sun energy, because solar energy gives us a lot of life force energy, a lot of creative energy, a lot of like kind of masculine energy, if you like, to be able to kind of get things done. Like the day is so much longer and we just tend to have so much more energy, naturally speaking, in that part of the year. So for this point of the year, when you're in the winter solstice, the light and the solar energy is at its basically at the least point that it's going to be throughout the entire year. So you're at the darkest point of your year now. So it's a really good time to kind of honor that and use it for your benefit, essentially. So really go within, use it to kind of, just knocked the roses there, use it to connect with that yin energy within, to connect with that inner intuition, to, really rest, to receive, to be receptive to any new ideas, any dreams that might come through. It's a really good idea as well to, do some creative envisioning. Why can't I get this word out? Envisioning. There we go. Sorry. Envisioning. And so things like vision boards can be really helpful, or doing journaling, intention setting, things like that. You can do little rituals around like anything you need to release. So, taking a candle or something, writing out anything that you acknowledge that you want to release from this past year. You can release that, perhaps burn it or bury it or something like that. And then start to consciously think of the energy that you want to call in for your year ahead. Like, what intentions do you want to set? Start to be aware of the different like threads that you want to maybe weave together. Are there any kind of unfinished projects from the last year that you want to kind of tie up? So it's all about that weaving those threads of destiny, starting to get really conscious about what you want to manifest throughout this next cycle as the light starts to increase. Because gradually from this point on, after the winter solstice, your energy, the natural energy of where you are, is going to increase. And so the light is going to increase, the power is going to increase, your ability to manifest is going to really amplify the more sort of energy you get behind that. But now is a really good time just to like check in with yourself, do that whole yin thing, really rest, really nourish yourself, set those powerful intentions for the year ahead. So without further ado, I am going to introduce each of the piles. I can't remember if I said that the messages are timeless. So regardless of where you are in the world, so if you're in the northern hemisphere and you're still drawn to this reading, or you're watching this at a different time of year but you're still drawn to it, that is totally fine. The messages themselves are completely timeless. I'm just filming it with the energy of that time and with the themes of that time. Okay, so to introduce each of the piles, we have got card number 22, Black Cat with Psychism, as pile number 1. So the timestamps for each of the piles will be below. So in case you're new to Pick a Card readings, I'm going to introduce each of these 4 cards as a selection card for each pile. If you're drawn to that card, there's a timestamp below. You can click on that and it will take you to your reading. And the reading may be a little bit more personalized than, whoops, I keep knocking my roses, than a general reading. So then next up we have for pile number 2, the Lady, card number 9 with Embodiment. Okay, and next we have a Goddess with card number 36, Transcendence. You'll be pile number 3. And finally, we have pile number 4 is card number 42, Crone with Release. Okay, now if you'd like to pick with crystals, give me a moment and I will add crystals onto these cards. 1 second. Okay, my love, so to introduce each of the crystals, if you are drawn to this beautiful Labradorite ball, you will be pile number 1. If you are drawn to the Peach Moonstone, you'll be pile number 2. If you're drawn to this gorgeous Flower Blossom Agate, you will be pile number 3. Excuse me. And if you are drawn to this Black Moonstone, you will be pile number 4. Okay, my love, so take a moment to pause the video if you need a little bit more time to choose which card or which crystal you're most drawn to. Again, the timestamps will be in the description box below, and I will see you in your pile. Hi there, pile number 1. If you chose the Black Cat, card number 22, Psychism, and the Labradorite crystal ball here, this will be your reading. Okay, so straight off the bat, pile number 1, I get a strong vibe from you guys that you are extremely psychic, or you have a strong sense of intuition. You're very connected to your moon self, in the sense that you can connect in with that yin energy, with that feminine energy, your intuitive self, your emotional side, your sense of inner nurturing. You are good at understanding when you need to rest and when you need to recuperate, and when it's time to then kind of go back out there and be more active. But I feel like you have a strong kind of moon sense. So some of you might be Cancer, because Cancer is ruled by the moon. So you might be Cancer sun sign or have Cancer really strong in your chart. Or you just might be a very feminine, nurturing energy, have really strong but just be really connected with your sort of maternal energy, with your emotional side, your feminine side, your, I'm hearing you receive a lot of wisdom through your body. So you're very embodied, very connected with, you might be clear sentient. I feel like some of you may be more sort of clairvoyant, you can kind of see things in the future. You're very psychic in that sense, and that you get visions or visuals through of what's gonna occur or something. But others of you might be clairaudience. You might hear those messages, but I'm picking up quite a strong energy of with that moon here and openness. You're quite an open channel to feel things. So you might identify or feel like you are an empath. So you pick up on the emotions and energies of others like a sponge. I'm picking up, or you're just very sensitive to others' energies, or you're very sensitive to energies on the other side. You're able, like a cat, cats are very they can pick up a lot of subtle energies, so they don't only recognize energies of if there's a shift in the energy within a house or something, they can kind of pick up spirit energies and things as well. So you may be very psychically aware, very able to pick up energies from the other side, or feel those energies kind of in your body. With the moon, this can rule our cycles, it can rule, our emotions, it can rule our energy, right? Especially as women. So, I feel like sort of the fluctuations of the moon might have quite a strong effect on you, or you just might be, very sensitive to energies in that sense, or very sensitive to shifts in energies or shifts in moods from people, things like that. Very very connected with, very connected with the cycles of things. Maybe some of you identify as like a moon witch, or you already do like full moon rituals or new moon rituals or something like that. But part of what part of what is coming through for you for this winter solstice period is to kind of gather your energy back in the way that like cats kind of, you know how they kind of wrap their tails around themselves, or they kind of curl up and they kind of, they'll rest quite a lot during the day, and then they tend to be more active at night. Especially under the moon. So like during this winter solstice period, rest is really being highlighted. It's very important to kind of like draw your energies back, to reconnect with that like inner psychic self, to reconnect with any like psychic visions you might be getting. Writing down dreams could be really useful. Doing any kind of new or full moon rituals might be really useful. We've just had a new moon in Gemini a few days ago, if you're watching this at the time of upload. So we're still in the new moon energy. It was quite a powerful new moon. So you could certainly do some new moon rituals at the moment if you're watching this right now. Otherwise, the next full moon is in Capricorn, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. So certainly any full moon rituals around anything you might want to release, any energy you might want to release. I see some of you doing like candle rituals as well. We've got these like 4 different colored candles here, and the colors can like represent things that you want to like manifest or whatever, or energies you want to kind of call in. So, connecting with, red can speak of the root chakra, so anything related to the home. Orange is sacral chakra, so creativity. Blue is throat chakra, which is like self-expression, and green is heart chakra, which is like love and relationships and emotions. So, maybe starting to get intentional, right? Because this reading is all about starting to set those intentions for the year ahead. And as the light, increases, it's getting really conscious about what you're trying to manifest in your life. So getting really clear on maybe like, the different aspects of your life, like how, what sort of intentions do you want to set around your home? What sort of intentions do you want to set around your creativity? Around your expression, around like your love life or whatever it might be. And next, I feel like what's being highlighted for you, whoops, I keep hitting my poor roses today for some reason because they're up in a glass. Normally they're flat on the table. Next, we have got the beautiful goddess Lalita, card number 21, with Follow Your Joy here. So, and it's interesting, in this particular Lalita card, her third eye is showing as wide open here, which is really beautiful. So I kind of feel like that's saying, I'm picking up a couple of different things from this. One is that for some of you, following your joy means following this power that you have, this sense of, psychic powers, this gift that you have, like playing with that and opening it up, being open to it. We've got the moon here with openness. Hopefully you can see that all right. So yeah, like really stepping into the fullness of that power, being really open to the psychic visions or psychic messages you're getting through, to whether it's that sort of clairvoyancy, that clairaudience, or clairsentience. Some of you may have all three, of course, or like other skills as well. There's like clairgustance, which is to be able to like taste and smell things in advance and things like that. So there's all sorts of different ones, but just anything related to like having that perception and being able to open up that perception, that connection with the other side. I feel like, there's a lot of sort of indigo color here, which is connected with the third eye. So yeah, opening up your third eye chakra. And we've got this peacock feather here, which is a lot to do with like, being in that energy of, I don't want to say like showing off, but feeling comfortable in your own skin and feeling comfortable, like, being yourself and like just, being center stage, or like putting yourself out there. And I feel like that's kind of something that you're moving towards, like as you maybe go through this sort of winter solstice time, you're kind of conserving your energy. You're thinking about your intentions for the year ahead. You're thinking about different aspects of your life. You're starting to be more open to these intuitive gifts. Some of you may already be using these gifts, of course. You may already be something like a tarot reader. You may do divination or do some kind of role that's related to actually really using your intuition in some way. But for others of you, I feel like this period ahead is calling you to step into following that gift and see where it guides you, because I feel like that is really going to be following your joy. I feel like it's going to bring you a lot of joy. It's going to bring you a lot of happiness, a lot of emotional fulfillment, and be something that you love. With the Lovers here, I feel like this is to do with like this path, this opening your third eye and doing something with that gift, with these psychic powers that you have, these magical powers that you have. And again, we've got the Labradorite here, which is connected with literally opening up your psychic powers, opening up your magical abilities, you know, stepping into all of that. I feel like it's going to be something you're really going to love. And I'm also just being drawn to the fact that with the black cat as well, we've got these two pillars here. So I feel like maybe one of the other things that you're being called to set intentions around, if you are feeling called towards this you know, gift and opening up and exploring this gift a bit more, is setting foundations, you know, setting clear parameters, clear foundations, getting really clear on, you know, how you would set this up, what sort of thing you want to do. You know, do you want to set up a channel, for example? Do you want to do it from your home? You know, it's kind of like creating some kind of foundation for yourself where you're, you know, you can keep your energy nice and protected. Like this cat, there's no one else around him, he's in this sort of protective circle, and also where you can step into your sovereignty, because we've got this throne behind this little cat here. So I feel like this is saying something to do with, you know, once you've created that foundation, you are going to be able to step into self-sovereignty with this gift and really use it to, really use it so that it brings you a lot of emotional fulfillment. It's something you're really going to love and enjoy. And the more you open to it, I feel like the more it will like give you something back, kind of thing. Like the more you step into this gift more fully, the more you embrace it and are open to these messages coming through, or open to this magical power that you have, or these psychic powers that you have, the more that the more open your life will become, and the more that things will come to you, the more love will come to you. You know, it may even bring a love relationship, but I feel like this is more to do with, you know, within your life, doing something that you actually love and really enjoy. And I feel like if this is something you felt called towards, you are really going to love this. You are really going to enjoy it. It is something that, you know, is a sort of calling for you that feels very strongly highlighted here. And something that, you know, with that peacock feather, it's like you're going to be really recognized for that. It's like, you know, you are the kind of, you know, I think with peacocks, it's the male peacock that has the most beautiful feathers, and he gets to like strut his stuff, and like everyone's just watching him like, whoa, look at that beautiful peacock. And it's like, that's something that you can come into kind of that fullness, right? With the imagination card, let your dreams take flight, I feel like we've got this owl here, which is symbolic of wisdom, and also a lot of purple as well. So again, the third eye chakra and the crown chakra is really highlighted. So again, I just feel like, you know, even if you're not necessarily psychic, or you're not necessarily someone who wants to, you know, say do any form of divination or use your intuitive gift as a, like, you know, sort of directly in any kind of role, I feel like you have all these intuitive and imaginative abilities and a very open third eye chakra that can just help guide your life with whatever direction you want to go in, and following whatever's going to bring you joy. So even if you don't want to do this particular thing, you know, and expand this gift, or you're not necessarily fully open to stepping into that as like a career, which you don't have to be. You could just use it for yourself to kind of, you know, understand intuitively where you're feeling guided towards. Because yeah, Lolita is all about like doing things that bring you pleasure. So if you feel like that would be your worst nightmare, to do something related to giving psychic messages, or anything related to kind of magical things, or you know, using your empathic skills in any kind of way, then like that's not the path for you. Like, but what is highlighted for you is you are super intuitive. So it's using your intuition in something that does bring you joy, something that you would really love. And this could be, you know, using, some of you may be very imaginative, so this could be using your intuitive skills or ability to connect with the other side to, like, you know, write imaginative stories or something. You might have been a very imaginative child. You might have been able to connect with the other side since you were a young kid or something. I'm kind of picking up someone who's really connected with like the fairy world, the fae world, the elemental spirits, things like that. So you've got that like strong imagination. You can really connect in. Maybe you can connect in with like ancestor spirits as well, because we've got the grandmothers here, and remember your roots. So there might be something around like, connecting, you're able to just connect in with other with like your guides or with like your ancestors. Maybe some of you have mediumship abilities as well. That could be saying that with the grandmothers and psychism. It could be that one of your skills that you have is being a medium, being able to connect with the passed on spirits of ancestors. And it may be just your own ancestors, right? This doesn't have to be like you're going to provide mediumship services for other people, though I feel like if you were open to that and you wanted to explore that, you could. But this is more just to do with like, connecting with your own line, like the all the ancestors in, say, your like feminine line or in your masculine line, like, connecting them with those guides and trusting that whatever like pulls that you get from kind of the other side. We've got a lot of like sort of circular energy here, like it's very kind of feminine energy, that kind of cyclical energy. And I did speak about at the beginning with the moon being like that sort of cycles, and you're very connected with cycles. So something to do with like, the cycles, maybe cycles of nature. Maybe some of you are like kind of nature witches or moon witches, or usually something related to cycles or something related to like feminine healing, or healing your feminine ancestral line could be highlighted for you. That might be something that, like, if you're open to it, you could connect in with your female line and receive messages from that, because maybe there's a lot of power or a lot of like, they can give you a lot of wisdom with the owl, right? They can help you feel like you're not alone, especially if you identify as like a starseed or something like that. You might feel very alone on this planet, and connecting in with your like grandmother ancestors. And some of you may have a grandmother who's already passed over, who's really like, who already comes through for you, and you're already really connected with her, and she watches over you in some way. And it's all about trusting those weavings, trusting that like, you have a particular fate, or you have a particular destiny that you are weaving. Like, you're nothing set in stone, like you are co-creating your reality with the universe, but like you have the option to weave a really beautiful destiny for yourself. And that's coming back to like, the topic of this reading. You can really call on Ariane Rod here, this Welsh goddess, to help you weave the destiny that you're really most aligned with. And she's a goddess. She's known as the goddess of the silver wheel, which is all about like, connecting in with the wheel, like the wheel of the year, the wheel of fortune, like the cycles of nature, things like that. So like, letting go of things as the wheel kind of comes down to its slow point, and then like it picks up and like things come back round again. So again, this could be like, with that sort of that kind of circular energy, that wheel energy, we've got these kind of spirals here. It's like something that maybe has been going round in terms of like there's certain powers or certain wisdom that can come through from ancestors, or like your feminine ancestral line or something that might help you. It might be wisdom that might be very helpful for you to know what to like you can sort of weave that wisdom into your life and go forward with something that's going to bring you a lot of joy, I feel like. Let's finish off with we've got an Earth Alchemy card to finish with, and for you we got Candle Quartz and Bleeding Heart. Show yourself. Yes, exactly. We had with the peacock feather here, I mentioned about like not sort of showing off, but feeling comfortable showing yourself, as you truly are. We've got vulnerability, self-worth, and feminine healing. And yeah, I did speak about feminine healing with this grandmothers and the healing the feminine ancestral line or something. So I feel like if you, as someone who meditates or something like that, or during this winter solstice, it might be a good time to, connect in with the other side, connect in with your ancestor spirits, with your feminine ancestors, with a particular grandmother or ancestor that might have passed, and see what wisdom comes through, see what insight comes through around healing this line, or around healing any kind of self-worth issues that you might have been having, or anything that's been blocking you from fully stepping into showing yourself, feeling really confident, like putting yourself out there, confident, showing yourself as you truly are, as this beautiful, like, psychic or intuitive or empath or healer or medium, or just anyone who uses your intuition as a guiding force, even if you don't want to do that as any kind of job or any kind of career or anything like that, that's totally fine. Like, you're just someone who uses your intuition, you use your wisdom, and you're strongly connected with that part of you, and you're trusting it to guide your life. I feel like that will help guide you towards something that you're going to be able to feel very, like, heal your sort of sense of self-worth and feel a lot more joy in your life, and something that's going to bring you a lot of, something that you really, really love. Okay, my lovely Pearl ones, I feel like that's all the messages I have for you today. I hope this reading resonated for you. Please leave me a comment below if it did. I always love to hear from you, and I thank you so much for those of you who've been leaving comments. Like the video if you enjoyed it. It helps tell me what content is resonating and tells the YouTube algorithm to send the content around, and helps my little channel to grow. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already, and the notification bell so you'll be notified when I next upload a reading. Thank you so much for being here and for letting me read for you today. All my love. Enjoy your winter solstice rituals, and I will see you in the next reading. Bye. Hi there, pile number 2. If you chose the Lady, card number 9, embodiment card, or the Peach Moonstone, then this will be your reading. So pile number 2, I am picking up quite a few different things for your energy. I feel like for many of you, what the destiny that you are, that you this is tricky. I'm getting so many messages through that all trying to come out at the same time, so I apologize if I'm not super eloquent. The energy that I'm getting through from you is that you are very in your feminine energy, or the destiny that you're kind of weaving is this very like energy of being very embodied and connecting with like your body, and noticing what signals your body gives you as to what like you enjoy and what you want to do with your life. And I feel like with the moon here, there, and also solitude as well, there's a full moon on both of these cards. I feel like maybe there's been something that has been getting in the way, possibly another person or a group of people, or just some other energies around you that have been somewhat possibly confusing you, or making your energy like a little bit kind of chaotic, or like unable to kind of connect in with yourself. And I feel like during this winter solstice cycle, kind of connecting in the way this goddess is on this Hathor card, which it says here, celebrate life. And she's really like connected in with her heart. She's really like, her eyes are closed. She's in sort of a state of rest or repose. She's connecting in with her heart and her sort of feminine essence. And with the two, with having the moon here and also solitude, the moon can sometimes speak of, in its shadow aspect, being influenced, I guess, by a sense of like say fears or illusions, or things that maybe aren't real, or something like that. But I feel like once you're able to connect in with that inner self, you'll be able to heighten the light side of moon energy, which is all about being in a kind of receptive state, like this goddess is here, to be able to receive wisdom, connect with your intuition, connect with your inner self, because the moon is all about yin energy. It's that really intuitive side of us. It's the side that rules our emotions. The moon rules emotions, energy in motion. It's, it rules our cycles as women, so it has a lot of power, and it can, really affect our moods and things like that. And I feel like this particular solstice, or whenever you're listening to this, because these messages are timeless. So if you're drawn to this reading at another time, that's totally fine. But there's a lot of energy around going within, perhaps needing to have a period of time in solitude in order to connect with your inner world, your inner life, and breathe some life into your inner self and like re-embody yourself. Because with the Holy Grail here, we've got stop the endless searching in a quest. So I feel like for some of you, pile 2, you might have been on quite a quest, like quite a search to kind of perhaps understand like your purpose or what you're meant to do in your life. With celebrate life here, this could be like, what you're meant to do that is going to celebrate you. Like, when are you going to get to a point where you'll be celebrated type thing? And I feel like you have maybe been looking in a lot of other places for answers, all except within. I feel like you might have been looking at, you could have even been using divination tools or going to lots of tarot readings or readers, or asking a lot of other people around you, sort of just externally seeking, essentially, like, trying to speak to a lot of friends maybe, or family, or a partner, or whatever it might be, to kind of get like validation on like what direction you should go in your life, is what I'm picking up on, or like what your life is meant to look like, or something like that. And I feel like what that's ended up doing is perhaps tipping you into the shadow side of the moon, which is that like sense of illusion, sense of like confusion. Sometimes it can be and really, sorry, I'm continuing to pause. I'm just picking up, I'm getting so much energy through, and I'm trying to like translate it into clear words, and it's quite difficult for your pile 2. And I think it's because you maybe have, when I'm tuning into your energy, I feel like you've got a lot of energy around you. So some of you may be like parents or something, so you might have a lot of other responsibilities, or a lot of like, you've got children, or you might be part of a big family. Maybe you're still even living at home and you're part of a big family or something. You might be like 18 or 19 here. With the moon, we've got card number 18, and intention, we've got card number 19. So you might be quite young and still be at home or something, and still have a lot of influence from people around you at home. Or even if you've left home, or even if you're older, there's still a sense of connection or loyalty or something to people in your life, or like seeking things from other people in your life, whether it's friends, whether it's workmates, whatever it might be. And I feel like what's being highlighted here is, in order to like connect with your joy and what's going to bring you the life that you want, there's a necessity to have some time in solitude. And that solitude is going to bring the clarity that you are seeking. It's going to bring you back into yourself, back into, like I said, this light side of the moon, where you're connecting with your intuition, you're connecting with your inner life, your emotional self, you're re-embodying yourself and connecting with the emotions as they're coming through your body. You're being in a more receptive state to like receive guidance, to receive wisdom, to receive intuitive information, to know what intentions you should set to go forward. Like it says here with Holy Grail, it's an inner quest. You're very much being called at this time to go on an inner quest, rather than seeking things from the outside. Like maybe you've already done a certain amount of things in the outside world. Maybe you've reached a certain level of achievement. Like maybe some of you have already reached a certain level of being celebrated in something, but you felt like something's lacking. It's like a sense of like inner fulfillment is lacking. And so you've been on this kind of quest, and what the quest is calling you to do, it's a very feminine quest. And that's why you picked Peach Moonstone, because Moonstone is a feminine stone. It's a goddess stone, this one, Peach Moonstone. So it's all about connecting with the goddess, as in the lady, which is the card you've picked. So it's like connecting with your feminine side. And this is regardless of how you identify, by the way. So you don't have to be a lady. You know, this is even if you identify something else, you can still connect with this energy. You know, men can still go through this process, or however you identify, it doesn't matter. It's not about gender, it's just about feminine energy. You're being called to go on an inner journey. You're being called to go on a quest from within, so that you can like find your holy grail, so to speak. You can find like what's going to like bring you the most like inner fulfillment, because I feel like you've maybe tried something else, or you've been trying to do things the way maybe other people have told you, and it just hasn't led to the level of fulfillment that you have wanted. So there's been this endless searching you've been doing, like, well, maybe I should try this path, maybe I should try that path, maybe I should do this. And that was the energy I was picking up on at the beginning of your reading, where I was getting like just this so much energy coming through, like a lot of perhaps mental energy, or a lot of like clutter and confusion that has maybe come from other people. And this is why solitude is being highlighted, because it's really important for you to like clear all that energy out and get really clear on like, you know, what your inner self is telling you, what your emotional self is telling you. And from there to set the intentions to spin your fate. And it's amazing this card has come out actually with an intention. The whole topic of the reading is intention setting, or weaving your destiny. And we've got spinning, which is, you know, like weaving here. And she's got this little baby here. So, you know, some of you might be trying for a baby. This might be something that is being called for you at this time, like to really connect with your feminine energy, because you're going to set the intention to then like have a family or something. But I feel like this is more metaphorical, or like, you know, more of a like creative babies rather than like a physical baby. More like, you know, setting the intentions for a kind of creatively like weaving the destiny that you want, or the manifestations that you want, or the creative dreams that you want. There's a lot of blue in this card, in this intention card. So blue is linked with the throat chakra, which is all about expressing your truth, expressing your authenticity, you know, expressing yourself creatively maybe. And in fact, I'm just noticing now, actually, there's a lot of blue here. We've got blue in the background of the moon card. This lady is wearing a blue dress, and this lady is also wearing a very similar colored blue dress. In fact, it's almost an identical dress, and these are two totally different decks, which is kind of amazing. So blue is strongly highlighted for you. So throat chakra healing could be something to focus on during this winter solstice cycle. Spending time alone, spending time to go within, spending time in meditation, or listening to your emotions, connecting with your emotional side, doing some like stream of consciousness journaling could be really helpful. Doing some like meditations around the moon, or also doing moon rituals, like a full moon ritual where you're connecting with what you need to release. And that could be like releasing the need for validation from others, right? Or releasing the need for people pleasing. And I just saw 3737 on the clock, which in numerology adds up to 1010, and 10 is the number of ending a cycle. So yeah, I feel like what the new destiny that you're weaving for yourself, pile number 2, is a destiny where you get to take charge of your life. You get to decide what is going to bring you inner fulfillment and inner happiness. You get to decide like what is the holy grail for you. You get to decide what intentions you want to set for yourself and what you want to weave for your own self. Like you get to be conscious about what you're manifesting in your life, right? Like you're co-creating with the universe. The universe isn't sending you anything that like, you know, is something that you haven't, I don't want to say like, because it's quite tricky. It's like, it's not like you know, if you've been through a difficult period, like, well, you've asked for that, pal number 2, like you brought that upon yourself. No, we're not saying that, but we're just saying like, you can consciously set intentions and consciously create the manifestations that you want to see in your life. You can consciously start to weave the destiny that you want for your future. You can consciously start to weave the life that you most want to celebrate, the life that will make you feel the most fulfilled, the most like internally fulfilled. Because I feel like this isn't about external fulfillment anymore, or about pleasing anyone else, or giving someone else reins to your life, or feeling validated by anyone else or anything. That's why solitude is highlighted. This is about you. This is about getting comfortable in your energy, getting comfortable with yourself, your own desires, owning those desires, owning what you would want in your life, owning what would bring you the most fulfillment, and then setting those intentions, and then, you know, following through on them. I feel like, you know, doing everything you can to grow that, whatever you've started weaving kind of thing. It's like it requires, you know, like any kind of creative pursuit. Like if you know, say you're actually literally doing a weaving of some sort, like you do some sort of craft work or something, and you're physically doing it. It's like, in order to finish it, like, you know, you have to kind of keep at it, right? Consistently keep weaving something. And there comes a certain point where, you know, the work is finished, but like for a period of time, it's like you have to kind of grow it and nurture it into being. But it's like, this is a process that's got to happen from within. I'm just seeing if there's any other messages that are coming through. I feel like that's it for these cards. I'm going to finish up your reading with a Earth Alchemy card, and for you got Amber and Dawn Redwood Rewild with Druid Tree Keeper, Perception versus Reality. Yes, I feel like this perception versus reality is coming back to the moon, the whole shadow versus light side of the moon that I spoke of at the beginning, where some of you might have been in some sort of like illusions or confusion, or sort of being tossed about by other people, lots of other people's ideas of what you should do, or trying to people please or something like that. Just like different people's perceptions, different people's ideas of like who you are, of like what your identity is. And yeah, I think rewilding and embodiment are kind of these two things I feel like are linking together, in the sense that the more you can come into your true, authentic, like wild self, and like re-embody your energy back into your body, like not sort of get pulled around by other people's energies, or by trying to people please, or by like feeling, maybe some of you might have gone through a period of disassociating or something. If you've gone through traumatic childhood experience, or you have CPTSD or something like that, you might have a tendency to disconnect from reality and disassociate and like fragment off from your body, which has perhaps allowed a sense of like your energy getting siphoned off perhaps a little bit, or like fragmented off from you, so that you find it difficult to kind of know which like intentions you should follow, or which path you should follow, or which destiny is really for you. And so it's really key to like getting back out in nature, rewilding yourself, grounding your energy, connecting with the forces of nature, connecting with your body, earthing yourself, regrounding yourself back in your body, sort of rewilding yourself back into your, you know, reweaving yourself back together, so that you're not too dissociated or too like pulled around by other people's perceptions, or other people influencing you. You know, you're able to go within and get really clear on like, yeah, what your holy grail is for you. So amber could be a really good crystal for you. That could be really helpful to help connect in with that energy, because I do feel like there is a specific, like, you have the right to co-create whatever reality you want, but I feel like there is a beautiful fate or destiny that kind of awaits you, that once you kind of get clear out these other people's energies, go within, connect with your inner self, connect with your intuition, connect with your emotions, spend some time in solitude, just, you know, praying, meditating, journaling, vision boarding, re-embodying yourself, maybe doing yoga or doing, some kind of somatic therapy or having massage therapy or things like that help you reconnect back in with your body and like the signals that your body gives you, so that the signals that your heart gives you. With Hathor here and the way she's holding this flower to her heart, and it's almost like she's trying to listen to it, like, what's my heart telling me? Like where is my heart guiding me? And if you're disassociated or you're not embodied or you're not listening to that inner voice, you can get pulled into like other people's realities, other people's perceptions of you, and you can make that real about you, right? Like you can end up having quite a controlling effect on your life. So it's really important for this next period to connect in with this inner life, so that you can connect in with the destiny that you're meant to weave for yourself. And I know that was quite a vague reading, but I feel like there's a reason for that. All of you are on completely different paths, and you all have completely different destinies that you're weaving. Like I said, some of you might well be like trying to start a family, literally, but for others of you, this is like weaving, some kind of like I'm hearing like a story, like a book, or like a creative pursuit, a creative project, birthing a creative baby out in the world, expressing your authenticity in some way, but in order to be able to do that, solitude is quite key. So that's the kind of key takeaway for your message today. So I'm going to leave your reading there, pile 2. I hope that resonated and that gave you a little bit of insight, at least, as to the energy to tap into for this winter solstice, or whenever it is when you're watching this. So yeah, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for those of you who have been leaving me comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button if it resonated. It helps tell me which readings are resonating with you and tells the YouTube algorithm to send the content around. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already, and the notification bell so you'll be notified when I next upload a reading. All the best with your winter solstice period and your period of like inner reflection and intention setting, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye. Hi there, pile number 3. If you chose the beautiful goddess card number 36, Transcendence, or the flower blossom agate crystal, then this will be your reading. Okay, so pile number 3, I'm getting that some of you might have been going through a bit of a period of letting go of something, or if you haven't, then you're kind of being called to let go of something and release some emotions that might have been holding you back. I feel like though many of you are already in this sort of emotional energy, this very watery energy, or you may be a water sign, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or have one of those signs strong in your chart somewhere. But with this goddess Freya and sensuality, and you can see she's kind of, it looks like a reflective surface here, like almost like she's looking into, either a mirror or into some water, and it's kind of like, kind of this watery self underneath her kind of thing. And then we've got emotional release and letting go. So I feel like some of you maybe have been going through a period of either letting go of someone or letting go of like a past version of yourself, or like a past identity or a past period of your life, phase of your life. It could even be like a career that you were doing, or you're going through a transition, and like you're transitioning from like being a single person to being in a relationship, or being in a relationship to having children, or having children to them leaving the home, and you're going through quite a big transition or quite a big process of letting go of something like a previous identity or previous self, in order to kind of step into this new self and kind of like transcend something that maybe previously happened to you. So I'm picking out quite a few different things, and it'll be different for all of you. This is a general reading, so just take whatever resonates. But I think there has been a period for many of you of letting go of something, of going through a bit of a purging, a bit of releasing. Some kind of emotions have been coming out. Maybe for some of you, you haven't necessarily even known what that's been about. Like you might just have been going through a bit of an awakening period and finding that certain emotions are coming to the surface in order to be released. It could be just, old things from, old traumas or old energies from the past, or things from old relationships, or things from past lives even, because with that goddess and transcendence, that can be really to do with like transcending any kind of limitations, like, any kind of karma or any sort of limitations on your life previously. Any sort of like old self that was like holding you back, or like, old negative emotions or something that might have been holding you back. And you might have been going through quite a like watery emotional period where you've been sort of releasing a lot of that, letting go of a lot of these like old selves or old ideas about yourself, old identities. And you're coming into the second bloom here. I feel like with this, the second bloom, it says a second chance. It's never too late, new possibilities. And we can see this woman's face kind of literally blooming through this flower. And I feel like this is you, like you're going to be going through a blossoming period as a result of transcending something that you've had to let go of, whether it was, like I said, an identity, another person, like an old relationship, or, even just letting go of something in your life, like some people that you've had to let go of or something. And you're going to have a second chance in your life in some form, whether that's starting a new career, whether that's like having a new relationship, if you're single and you've had to let go of a past lover or a past relationship, and like you want, once you've gone through that kind of purging and releasing, you want kind of more like sensuality in your life, you want more that connection with, beautiful things, and like, really sort of blooming and seeing beauty in your life and receiving beauty in your life, and like, really like, being pampered, right? Like sensuality is all about like pampering yourself and being pampered, like receiving pampering, having like beautiful oil massages and things like that. So maybe for some of you, it's like calling in that kind of beautiful sensual relationship that really like honors you and, helps you feel like a total goddess, right? Or it's, maybe for some of you, you might have been in something in the past that you're letting go of, like in some kind of restrictive role or something like that, or like in a career that maybe like you got made redundant from, for example, or you chose to leave, or you just felt that pull towards doing something that is completely different. And you're, after kind of purging out that old identity or letting go of that old identity or those old people, you're having this opportunity to bloom again and have this new chance. And I feel like you're really going to be moving forward, because we've got the Chariot here, card number 7, which is all about movement, and especially in this particular deck, the Crystal Magic Tarot, this has got a camel, and he's like got a like a traveling case on his back, and he's moving. We've also got I think it's a goose, might be like a Canadian goose or something, that's like flying. So maybe some of you are like, you know what, I am done with this country. I am going to move countries. I've always wanted to live in wherever it is, like the other side of the world. And we've got, actually, it's interesting, we've got travel as signaled by the Chariot. And then we've got, with this goddess card, she's holding the world. And I feel like with the world being symbolized on this card, and then the second bloom saying it's never too late, it's like saying the world is your oyster, right? Like you don't have to be stuck in this old, whatever it is, perception of yourself, or this old state, or in those old emotions, or in that old life, or whatever, or that old job, or that old relationship. If you've outgrown it, or it's not worked, or you've let go of something, like the world is now your oyster. Like you are free to like take on the world, essentially. Like this swan is just like, woo, got its wings spread. It's like you can spread your wings, you can fly, you can go wherever you want. You have the freedom to explore any kind of possibilities that you might want. As it says, new possibilities is coming to end. New possibilities are coming to you. And I feel like with it saying it's never too late, maybe some of you have felt a bit like you're too old or something. Like I'm getting, because it's got 36 here, maybe some of you are in your late 30s or your early 40s or something, and you're like, oh no, I couldn't do that. Like that's, I couldn't go off traveling around the world. That's something that college students do or something. Like you might have some old ideas about what you can and can't do, or who can and can't do what, you know, or maybe you're even older than that. You might be at, I did pick up on maybe someone whose kids have left home or something. So you've been facing a bit of an empty nest and you're letting go of like your children, because with this particular card, she's kind of holding on to like her womb. So it's like maybe there's been a letting go process of letting go of some children, or just letting go of, yeah, some family members, something like that. Maybe in fact, actually, some of you could be younger and you're because that card says 21. So maybe some of you are leaving home, right? You're the child and you're leaving the mother, the parent. And that's a bit of a release, you know, it's a bit of a like mixed emotions, right? You know, like part of you is like, woohoo, I get to go off and be free and I can travel and I can live where I want and I've got freedom, but also like, you know, I miss my parents or something, or I miss, you know, seeing people from my family or whatever it might be. So it'll be different for all of you, but I feel like generally what this is saying is like nothing is too late. Whatever it is that you want to do, if you want to travel, if you want to explore the world, if you want to move to another country, if there's always been somewhere you've wanted to do, I feel like this is the time to set the intentions now, to do the vision boarding, do the intention setting, write the goals, like, you know, do the scripting, right? Like literally write down exactly everything that you want to create in your life. I have done this process actually a couple of years ago, and literally everything I wrote down, including like manifesting a soulmate, travel around the world, and starting my own business. I have done all those 3 things in the last couple of years since I did the scripting. So you just write out literally as if like in present tense, as if you already have it. So like say you want to go and travel and live in another country or something. You know, or just travel around the world or whatever, or have this sort of lifestyle where you can do that. You know, you would just write down like, I have a lifestyle where I can live and work wherever I want, or I have location independence, or whatever it is you're trying to manifest, or you would most like, and read it to yourself every night before you go to bed. As you go to bed, sleep as if you're in the energy of like that thing has already happened, and you will be amazed at what comes about. Like, scripting is such a powerful process. So anything you can do around this beautiful winter solstice intention setting time will be really potent for you. You know, maybe if it is winter where you are now and you're like, oh my gosh, I am sick of this country. It is cold, it is dark. Like, I want to go and live in somewhere really tropical, right? Because with adventures here, this is a really like tropical card. I'm getting like warm country vibes, like, I don't know, Latin America or something like that. So maybe some of you are like, oh, I just want to go on adventures. I want to go and be somewhere warm. I want to go and live in like, I'm hearing like Portugal or like something like that, somewhere that's always sunny, or there's beautiful wildlife, or, you know, somewhere that's warm as well, with that camel as well, that can speak of like deserts. Maybe some of you might want to go to like Dubai or somewhere like that, or one of those kind of countries, or like even like Mongolia. And go on like a trip to the desert, or just somewhere that's kind of hot maybe, or whether it's for a trip or to actually move to live in one of these places. I just feel like that is something that like maybe you've had some limiting ideas around having the capability perhaps to do this on your own, or being something to do with age, I feel like. And I just saw 11:11 on the timer. So yeah, if that's the case, that's an alignment. This is saying this is a reading for you. You've chosen the right path. So like, just ignore those limiting beliefs. Like, as this card says, it is never too late. You have a second chance now because of whatever you've had to let go of. You know, maybe that thing was very upsetting at the time, having to let go of that, but you know, there was a reason you had to let that go. There was a reason that thing didn't kind of work out. And it's like maybe brought you into, it's going to eventually like align you with better possibilities. Like it says, new possibilities. It's like that thing had to be let go of in order for these new possibilities to come about, in order for these, like, you know, this movement in your life, these adventures. And, you know, even if you don't want to kind of travel to some exotic tropical country, like, you don't have to. It could just be like being more adventurous, or, you know, having more of a sense of movement within your life. Like maybe just, you know, generally speaking, you've been a bit stagnant, or you've had like your energy, your creative energy might have been a bit like suppressed, or like a bit blocked, or you just might not have been able to move forward with things very much in your life recently because of whatever reason, maybe even finances or something. And I feel like you're starting to maybe like worry about time. I'm getting like a strong kind of sense of like, oh, it's going to be too late, or like I'm never going to be able to do that, or I'm never going to be able to travel, or I'm too old or too young, or like I'm because I'm single and I don't have a partner, I can't do it, or like there's all these, I'm sort of getting lots of different things from different people, like different limitations, and I feel like with that second bloom, it's like, no, like you've got the chance now to do it now. Like set the intention, vision board it, script it, envision it into being, like see it as if you're doing it. And actually, I'm also being called to say another manifesting technique with this Freya card. I mentioned the reflection, the sort of like, it looks like she's looking into water, or a mirror or something. So like mirror work could be very useful for you. In terms of like, you can look into a mirror and like sort of let your gaze go soft and look kind of past your reflection, so that it's kind of like, it looks a bit murky like this, like you let your eyes go kind of soft and you just see yourself in this sort of slightly fuzzy state. And if you envision from looking into the mirror what you do want to see in your life, so seeing yourself, you know, traveling around beautiful countries, or seeing yourself with a new partner and you're having this lovely like sensual time together and they're really like honoring of your body or something, or seeing yourself as like in a amazing new career where you can like travel around the world and be location independent and work for yourself, whatever it is that you're wanting to blossom in your life, whatever it is that you're wanting to grow for yourself, like you can absolutely do that. It's just a case of like, yeah, looking, possibly like, yeah, looking into a mirror, doing a little ritual where you look into the mirror and you see past your existing reflection and you visualize yourself doing that new thing, and you will create it. And I just saw 444 on the clock, which is, fours are to do with like setting foundation, setting like a new foundation for yourself. So if that's something that you want to do, that could be a really powerful ritual for you, just to offer that. And to finish off, we've got the Earth Alchemy card, and we got, oh my goodness, I love this. This is so relevant. Pixie helpers and green aventurine, not all wanderers are lost. Clearing the way, luck and opportunity. Yep, exactly. I feel like whatever you've had to let go of, as upsetting as it might have been and as much of an emotional release as it might have been, it's shifted out some energy to clear the path so that you can have this like second chance, this second opportunity to really like blossom into, you know, whatever it is you want to grow into, whatever it is you want to do. If you want to wander around the world, like you can do that. Like, you know, if you want to do the whole van lifing thing, or just, yeah, be a traveler, or be a digital nomad, or, you know, be a travel blogger, or, you know, just anything, like just globetrot, be a tour guide, you know, whatever it is you want to do. That doesn't mean like you're lost if you're doing that. Like, it's not like, oh, the only people who can do that kind of thing are like college kids, because like, you know, it's good for them to do a gap year or whatever before they start university or something. Like that's, you know, that's the only time to do that kind of thing. And I'm older than that, so like people will just think that I'm crazy and I've lost my marbles, or I'm totally lost in my life, or like it's too late, or, you know, like I was going to go with my partner and now they broke up with me and so now I can't go, or something. And it's like, no, wherever you're at in your life right now, whatever has been cleared away, whatever you've lost, whether it's a relationship, a job, a family member, whatever. And I hope it wasn't like you've lost a family member in terms of someone's died. I'm so sorry if it is something like that. But I feel like it's more to do with like emotionally releasing a situation, like, you know, leaving home or leaving a relationship or leaving a job or something, like you sort of actively letting go, releasing that, going through the necessary stages of grieving it, of course, and honoring the letting go process, but then like transcending any difficulties you've been through, knowing that it's not too late, that you can bloom into whatever you want, you can have whatever you want, and you are going to get some opportunities to do these things that you've been dreaming about, to like travel, if it's traveling, or yeah, whatever it might be. you have good luck coming to you. Okay, my lovely pile number 3s, I'm going to leave your reading there. I really hope that resonated for you. Don't forget to leave a comment below if it did. It just helps tell me what content is resonating and tells the YouTube algorithm to send my content around to others, which helps my little baby channel to grow. I so appreciate each and every one of you who's been doing that. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already, and the notification bell so you'll be notified when I next upload a reading. All the best with your journey. Please come back and write to me if you did actually end up going traveling, or after this period of like scripting or whatever you decide to take off. I would so love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye. Hi there, pile number 4. If you chose the Crone card, card number 42 with release, or the black Moonstone crystal, then this will be your reading. So some of you might have come here from pile number 3 actually, because I'm getting some crossovers with the two energies with your piles. That pile also had a card about emotional release, and I picked up that, you know, some of the people from that pile might have been going through a bit of a release process lately, or letting go of something. And I'm getting a similar energy for you, pile number 4. I do feel like you are still kind of in that cycle though. I feel like you're in a cycle of something ending, that you're kind of closing out a certain chapter that's ending, some kind of, yeah, there's some kind of like death and rebirth process that's in the process of happening. And there's a real need to sort of honor your energy as you go through this, and like really come to a standstill and like rest and receive like replenishment, release, be able to receive support from other people. Because we've got here with this beautiful Rose Oracle card, we've got held, sureness of the soil, unseen help, support, and community. And there's this like these guides, beautiful sort of ancestors, like a grandmother or something, looking down on this woman who's sort of in the fetal position. So I see that maybe some of you might have been going through quite a painful time, a painful ending of some sort. Something has sort of ended in your life that's been quite painful. Like maybe you've been in the fetal position a lot lately, or you've been resting a lot lately, like you haven't had a lot of energy because this big thing has been sort of closing out, or this big ending has been happening, this thing you've had to let go of, this thing that you're releasing. It could be grieving something, so there could have been a death in your family, or you know, a friendship, or just an ending of something, like an ending of a relationship that's been very heartbreaking, or the ending of some kind of cycle, like maybe even you might have been in a certain career or job or something. I'm seeing someone who was like running a business or something. Possibly you ran your own shop or like a cafe or something like that, and you've had to close that down. There's been like a kind of a death to it, like you've had to end the business, close the business, finish it in some sense, and you're kind of now at a standstill. And there's a reason for that. Like it's very important that you kind of honor this process of this kind of death and rebirth process, like a sense of death. It doesn't have to be literal death. It doesn't mean like someone has literally died. It's usually more metaphoric. It's usually more like the ending of a cycle, you know, the ending of a certain identity, the ending of a phase in your life. The ending, it can be like the ending of certain habits or ways of being. It can mean the death of ego and a rebirth into an awakening into your more like spiritual self. But there's this need with these kind of 4 cards here, with release, standstill, death, and then like being held, trusting that as you go through this death and rebirth process, or this ending and new beginning process, that you are being supported through this, you are being held through this. You have some very strong guides coming through who are really like shielding your energy. They're really helping you through this. It may not always feel that way. You may feel like you've been abandoned or left alone, and that's why I feel like this card is coming through to show you that even if you don't have a huge amount of support or community in the physical world, in the 3D world, you definitely do in the spiritual realm. You definitely have a lot of support, a lot of like ancestral support. I feel like looking over you, protecting you, helping you through this death and rebirth process, helping you through this like maybe awakening process, if it is a sort of ego death and spiritual awakening you're going through. I feel like with the sureness of the soil, it might be that grounding your energy might be really helpful at this time, especially if you are in this sort of murky, watery energy, like with the, you know, this energy of, you know, if you're stood in that like sort of stagnant, watery energy where you're just feeling a lot all the time, that might make it difficult to feel like you are being supported. And so like getting out in nature and like grounding yourself into the soil, like into the earth, so that you feel like connected with like Mother Earth, and like sort of reground yourself so you can feel the support of like the earth as you go through this process, might be very helpful for some of you. But like it says, it's like unseen help here. So I feel like for many of you, you may not see how you're being helped through this process. You may not really be able to understand why it's happening or see ahead yet. Like it may feel very dark, very confusing, but I feel like in the future, and possibly in the very near future, you will be able to get a lot more insight with that insight card into why this like ending and new beginning, or this rebirth process has had to happen. Because with this particular death card, we've got this vulture here, and vultures are all about like, they will come down and do that necessary work of cleaning up an animal corpse or something after it's died, which seems like a pretty grisly process, and like, you know, that kind of, I think sometimes they can be perceived as a bit scavengery or something, but like actually they're providing this like very necessary service where, spiritually speaking, where they are believed to take the parts of the dead animal to the spirit world. They kind of transfer them, I guess. They clean up. So there's a cleansing, which is part of this releasing process. Releasing the dead, releasing old things from your life, letting go of things that aren't working. And then like, one sec. Sorry about that, pal 4. I just had a massive coughing fit literally out of nowhere. So for some of you, throat chakra healing might be something that you're being called to do, like releasing any blocks to the throat chakra so that you can express your truth more authentically. And like, because the throat chakra is all about being able to express your needs, express your truth, live in your authenticity, speak your own truth authentically. So maybe that's part of that release, is like letting go of an old self maybe that wasn't able to do that. Maybe an old self that was at a bit of a standstill, like you might have been in a sort of stagnant energy where you haven't been able to like move forward with something, or move forward with your truth, or live in alignment with your higher authenticity or something. So there's been this sort of clearing out, this releasing, this kind of ending. And like I was saying about the vulture, there's that process where when it's transporting all like the spirit self of the animal to the spirit world, it's like doing this really valuable thing of like gleaning from essentially what was like the death process, right? Essentially from something that seems to be this really grisly process. It's like gleaning this new beginning. It's creating this new beginning for the spirit of the animal that was left. It like helps it cross over the other side. And I feel like because that's coming out above held, it's like you're being held through this kind of death and rebirth process. You're being held and supported. And you'll see in the future, you'll be able to see and glean like all the pieces of wisdom. You'll get the insight into like why all these types of things had to happen, and feel more of a sense of like being more connected to your higher self and like your guides, and like understand the kind of like magic of life, like synchronicities, feeling more like guided as to where you're meant to go, feeling more of a sense of like unconditional love, because we've got Mother Mary with unconditional love and faith here. So you'll feel more connected with like your inner faith, more connected with like, yeah, a sense of like unconditional love coming through from spirit, because I do feel like I'm getting a strong and overwhelming presence of like, it could be a crone, so it could be someone's grandmother or something like that, who's very, very protective and like shining down this very protective energy, and supporting you. This, yeah, again, it's like it could be a mother, it could be a grandmother, someone in your female line, your mother's line or something, who loves you totally unconditionally. It's like almost overwhelming love I'm getting through. So even if you are going through something really difficult, even if you are going through a painful ending process or a death process, or you're just at a bit of a standstill in your life, you're going through a stagnancy, or something, or just feeling like abandoned by the universe in some way, you're really being called here to have unconditional faith, to have that trust in the divine, that trust in your guides, in your like spirit team, that they are looking out for you and like holding you through this process. And you will get the like insight that you need as to why a lot of these things happened, or why things needed to end, or why you needed to release what you needed to release. You know, it's that whole thing of like, you can never connect the dots forwards, only backwards, right? So I feel like you'll get the messages that you need, because we've got these ravens here, and ravens are all about like being the messenger birds for the spirit realm. So like where the vulture takes the spirit and transfers it to the spirit world, the raven then comes from the other side, from the spirit world, and brings messages to the 3D world, if you like, or to the human world from the other side. And so I feel like your connection with the other side, your connection with your intuition, your connection with like, yeah, that sort of sense of being able to tap into messages coming through from your guides, or from your ancestors, or from even from other people's guides and ancestors, or from, like the ability to kind of divinate, or the ability to like connect in with just the souls of passed on loved ones or something, whether it's your own or even for other people, is something that might start to be opening up for you, because it's got be open to enchantment. So I feel like there's going to be a bit of an opening that will start to happen, where you'll start to kind of see, you'll start to see the enchantment that is present in everyday life. How like, there's all these little synchronicities, like, you'll get start to get all these messages from your guides as to like, the little breadcrumbs to follow for like weaving the your destiny of what you're meant to go towards next. But I feel like you're not really necessarily at the stage of being able to like immediately start setting those intentions, or like moving forward with that, until you've gone through this kind of like standstill process of like honoring the grieving that needs to be done, honoring the releasing that needs to be done, honoring the letting go that needs to be done, connecting in with your guides and the unconditional love of spirit, and then receiving that insight as to like, how to move forward. So to finish up your reading, we've got an Earth Alchemy card, and we got yes, fairies, orders, rest, exactly, replenish and release guilt. Yeah, I feel like this is, we've got this card here, withheld, unseen help, and we've got this like beautiful guide or goddess or crone goddess or whatever, sending like, it's almost like activations or uploads or insight or something to this person who's kind of just maybe a bit closed off and kind of a bit upset with life or something like that. There's all these like beautiful golden rays coming down, all the support and love that's coming down. And then with this card, we've got a cup with like golden energy being poured down on this person. So yeah, it's really important to honor that resting process, that standstill process, so that you can receive the support that you need. You can receive the healing that you need, you can receive the uploads that you need, you can receive the love and the insight that you need to be able to move forward and to like feel more replenished, and be able to go forward in your life. And you got I think your crystal was the Black Moonstone, which this particular crystal could be really useful for tapping into this period of sort of perhaps a darker period, if you like, or a period of like essentially stopping, taking stock, going through that sort of dark goddess time of like, being in your yin energy. It's like linked with like when the moon, because it's a moonstone, it's linked with when like the moon is totally waning. The energy waxes to the full moon and then it wanes, and then it's like in the dark moon before it starts a new cycle. So you're kind of at that stage of the dark moon where you can't see what's next. You don't have any insight, right, into what's next, but you have to kind of honor this darkness at this point and like go within, connect with your intuition, release any kind of old energy, any stagnant energy, with this bird standing in this sometimes this can be like getting stuck in kind of a quagmire, like kind of mud, and the more you try and fight it and the more you try and push against it, the more it can just like suck you in, like that kind of like sinking mud kind of thing that you can get. It's really important to kind of release any emotions that might have been holding you back. So Black Moonstone could be a really helpful crystal to go through that process. Okay, my lovely pile number 4s, I'm going to leave your reading there. I hope that resonated for you. Don't forget to leave a comment below if it did. I so appreciate each and every one of you who's been doing that. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the reading and it resonated. It helps tell me which content is resonating for you and helps send my videos around so that it helps my little channel to grow. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already, and the notification bell so you'll be notified when I next upload a reading. Thank you so much for being here. All the best with your winter solstice process and your healing process, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye.